What's up guys, I'm Frosted the Sandwich and welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Today I'm bringing you 5 tips on Ultron, who is the new strategist in their video game. I've been having a lot of fun playing as him, I hope you have too. He's definitely more of a DPS and I think most people know that at this point. But yeah, here's 5 tips to help you improve your gameplay hopefully and rank up. Tip number 1, Ultron does have several animation cancels, and the first and most useful one I think is probably going to be his reload animation cancel. It'll basically let you cancel it when the circle's about halfway. So if you watch when I reload, I get a little circle, wait for it to scroll to about halfway, and then do a melee attack, and you'll get all your ammo back. If you look in the left-hand corner, it goes back up to 6, even though the circle doesn't complete. Another one that you can do is you can actually cancel his shooting animation early. And this can even be done at the end of the shot, after the big explosion happens, or immediately. And one of the reasons you might want to do it when, like very quickly, is if you say you have like a low health character like this Luna right here, you just need a couple of ticks and then you can kill them and it can basically reset your shot entirely. So this does give you a slight increase, and I really mean it when I say slight, we're talking milliseconds here, increase in DPS. Along with the animation reloads, this could add up to a lot over the course of a game. It's really not gonna matter much in like the micro. This is more of like for those people that really want to optimize their gameplay on Ultron. Doing this will give you a slight advantage, but it's very slight. And all I'm doing there is animation canceling by meleeing. I guess I haven't really discussed that yet. But yeah, I'm just hitting the melee button. Right when I hear the explosion happen on his primary, I'm hitting my melee button. And that's about the right timing to get it so that you're shooting a little bit faster. But yeah, and you can also animation cancel with the drone. Although this is a little trickier because you do have to look away from your target. And you also have to swap it every time. You can't like reapply it to the same target. So you kind of like, you shoot, put your drone on a target, shoot, put your drone on a target. And that is also very minorly better or faster. So we're talking milliseconds here again. You're not gonna get like, you're not gonna destroy the enemy team by doing any of this or like become so good at the game that nobody can stop you. These are minor adjustments that will give you a slight advantage by the end of the game. All right, tip number 2 for Ultron is we're gonna swap. Oop. Never mind, we were on Ultron. We're gonna swap his abilities because his secondary fire is on a longer cooldown. Like his shield, I think, is a lot better being on E. And so I actually use my space for my secondary, not right click. I actually jump with my right click, but for you it'll probably be right click. But other than that, I would just say swap those two key bindings in your settings, and you're actually gonna have a much better time. His alternate fire is a much better, I think, fit for your right click than his shield. His shield's on a much longer timer. It's a lot less useful in a lot of situations than just swapping your heal over to someone else. I think you're going to be using that button a lot quicker, and I've seen both ML7 and a lot of other tip videos suggest doing this, and I tried it and I really liked it. So try it out. If you don't like it, just swap it back, but it actually does feel a lot better, or a lot more natural. Tip number 3 is Ultron has 2 hero settings that you probably want to take a look at. The first one is targeting sensitivity of drones. This, I would put this at about 50. I think that it feels a lot better, and it just makes it so that the person you're targeting the drone to is far more likely to receive the drone than somebody next to him. That's all that's doing. At 100, I feel like it's pretty liberal and will go to somebody right next to where I'm aiming a lot more often than if I put this down to 50. You can experiment with one, but it's actually kind of hard to land the drone. So I feel like 50 is a happy middle ground between it going just randomly to whoever's kind of on your screen to whoever your crosshair's at, and then healing reticle field feedback. It's just a much more, it's a better way of keeping on top of where your healing what your healing's doing. I kind of recommend doing this on every healer. In fact, there's maybe a handful that you don't really need it on. But anyone that any healer where you throw a heal and forget about it. Mantis is another big one. I absolutely love turning this setting on for her. It's just to be able to know that you're actually healing your teammates and able to go do something else or have your attention somewhere else and know that you're getting heals off on them. And as soon as you see that go away, you know you can turn and throw your drone on something else. It's just a really nice setting to have, and I highly recommend it on Ultron, as well as Mantis and a couple of the other healers. Invisible Woman, if you're throwing your shield out, it can be very nice to know that your shield's actually close to somebody and doing something. Yeah, otherwise you can just reposition it. Tip number 4 for Ultron is his shield is actually far more effective when you're close to the ground. The AoE, you'll see a little circle when it goes off. That AoE consistently gets smaller the higher up you go. So if you're like above your teammate and thinking it's gonna hit them, it's actually not. You need to be somewhat close to them. You see, I felt like I probably could have hit there, but it didn't do anything. That one awkwardly did hit. It's just a lot more consistent when you're low to your teammates. So if you're trying to use it to protect your teammates, definitely get low to the ground. If you're just using it for yourself, then, you know, go for it. But just, it's one of those weird things where if you're trying to come in with like a clutch shield to make sure that your teammates can tank a big hit or something, you gotta get low to the ground. If you're trying to just fly over them, because I've done some plays like this where I try and dash, and that actually worked that time. It's just know that sometimes it can work, but it's very inconsistent. The lower you are to the ground, the more consistent it will become. Alright, tip number 5 on Ultron is you're actually a huge target when you're in your ult, so always use your shift. Your shift gives you a 8-second speed boost, which is much longer than the duration of your ultimate, and it's going to make it so that you're actually very hard to target while you're doing this. And that actually leads into the bonus tip I have for all flyers is make sure you're constantly ascending and descending. Ultron is one of those characters where you can really make it difficult for even the snipers like Hela and Widow or Hawkeye to hit you by just constantly changing your elevation. And what I'm doing here is I'm holding my ascend key, which is my right click. Like I said, I jump with right click. I'm sorry, I'm a weirdo. But I'm always holding my ascend key, and then when I want to descend, I hit control, which is my descend. And descend always seems to override, so you can do stuff like this, where you're constantly bobbing up and down. And then you mix in some strafes, and you kind of become an absolute nightmare for snipers to shoot, because they're going to try and be hitting you in the head. And so if you're constantly changing elevation and strafing, it's going to be very hard for them to hit you in the head. They'll still be able to body shot you, but it's going to be very hard for them to pick you off quickly. If they're body shotting you, you usually have enough time to do stuff like this and get back behind cover. Another tip for any flyer is you want to aggressively play around cover. Cover is basically the way you stay alive and keep yourself from becoming a liability to your teammates as a flyer. You never really want to be like out in the open like this unless your team's just kind of winning and has an advantage. Most of the time you want to be up high, splitting their attention, and playing aggressively around cover. So you're peeking out, peek out, shoot, back to cover. Even that was kind of too much of a peek. You don't want to over peek either. You want to constantly be hugging cover like that. But yeah, that is 5 tips for Ultron. Let me know if you found something new in this video or if any of these helped you out in your gameplay. I really enjoy making content like this, and if you want to see just general gameplay tips or tips for other characters, I have plenty already posted, and I'll have plenty more coming. So just like, comment, subscribe. It really does help me out. Till next time, stay frosty.